All right, and a very good a very good Friday morning. Great introduction um, to everybody. This is Kenneth Gruenfelder on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. So once again, I am your host Kenneth. Jumped the gun there. I don't know why I had Monday on my mind. But a very good Friday morning to everybody out there. So just another reminder to tip or donate to the program and get your comments recognized. Go to streamelements.com/gsmcsportsnetwork./tip. So this really helps the show. And for bonus materials that are not on this broadcast, make sure to go to patreon.com and search up GSMC Sports Network and sign up. Everything is also in the description of the video. And yeah, so today's Friday, not Monday. I don't know why that happened, but there's always something with my show that, there's things that go on. But anyways, so we got a great show for you guys. Another week in the books. Today we're going to go through what we normally do. The latest news and headlines we'll start off with. Then in the second segment, one of the bigger headlines is the Red Sox letting go of their general manager, Chaim. So they're in search of a new GM. So I'll talk about that because that's a big topic, and I know a lot of Red Sox fans are definitely very happy today. Then in the third segment, we'll recap all the games from last night, go over the current standings, and then in the final segment, I'll look at some of the big games, the big series that are coming up this weekend. And some of them actually already started, such as the Rays and the Orioles. So, so that's pretty much a rundown of the show. And I thought we were going to have some background noise today. Because there was some work being done outside of my house. There's always stuff going on, but we're ready to go. So let's get right into it with the latest news and headlines around the league. So obviously, Chaim, that's a big topic, but I'm going to save that for the next segment. So one of the things that I saw was the fact that that we've seen. There's been more top 100 prospects in the big leagues than there's ever been before, like at this particular moment, which I thought was very interesting. Some of these guys started up in the majors, almost immediately, like Anthony Volpe, for example. I think it was like, there was like 30-something prospects that were brought up. I'm trying to look for it in the article right now, but that's huge, that the game is moving. I talked about it last week, with the youth movement in New York City. It's all around baseball right now. And some of these guys have made an impact, and they're going to make an impact on teams that are going to make the playoffs, which is great. So, so 55, I think it says 55 top 100 prospects have played in the majors this year, and some debuted prior to 2023. So that's it right there. So 38 players from the preseason top 100 prospects list have made their big league debuts this season. So that's a big deal. But like I said, it's a youth movement. It's all around baseball, and it's kind of sad when you see a lot of the guys that you've watched growing up go off and like Miguel Cabrera, for example. He's going to be retiring after this season. Last year we saw Pujols and Yadier Molina retire. So, baseball, we're seeing a lot of young players. You look at the Orioles, they got a lot of young players, and they're going to be making the playoffs. So, it's really exciting, and, it's game's moving in a different direction now with a lot of these young players. So, so I thought that was something very interesting. Another thing, Yankees rookie Jason Dominguez is going to have Tommy John surgery, so he has a 9 to 10 month timetable for his return. So that's a big blow, especially because of how he started off. He was playing really well for the Yankees, and this just really was a gut punch. And when he was scratched from the lineup, you didn't really think it was that big of a deal. And UCL injury, and he's going to be out. He's going to be getting Tommy John. Now, we've seen Bryce Harper come back from this injury, and Jason Dominguez is a lot younger than him. He's even younger than me. So he should hopefully be able to rebound from this injury, but it's going to impact what the Yankees decide to do this offseason. They definitely need some outfielders. They need a outfielder. They need left-handed bats. They need some left-handed bats. That's really what they need. And Jason Dominguez was going to provide that. And unfortunately now, we're not going to see him until, late, like at some point during the season. I guess maybe more towards the All-Star break, I would imagine. So, yeah, it's not what you want to see. It's a terrible thing that had to happen, and hopefully he's able to come back and produce, because the Yankees need it. The Yankees really need it. So yeah, but also, so the Rays closed the gap on the Orioles last night, so they're a game back, and I'll go into more detail with that. But it's a big series, and that's one of the big series that I'm going to highlight in the final segment. This is a 4-game set. So we got 3 more games after this, and the Rays took the first game, and that's huge. And, between saying the Orioles are going to win the division and the Rangers maybe not making the playoffs, that hasn't really looked good for me, because the Rangers have been playing really good baseball. They swept the Blue Jays last night. They won the final game. And the Rays beat the Orioles last night. So now they're 1 game back. So, yeah, things aren't really... this is what I'm talking about with making predictions. They just don't seem to go your way. But yeah, that's another headline as well. And like I said before, obviously the Chaim Bloom topic is going to be something huge, which I'm really looking forward to get into that. But the other thing is this. So the Blue Jays, I guess really a headline for this is the Blue Jays got swept. So now they're on the outside looking in. They just got swept in 4 games by the Rangers. So what does that mean? Does that mean this team is not going to make the playoffs? I mean, right now, they are on the outside looking in. But this would be just a huge disappointment if this team doesn't make the playoffs. And it's going to be tough, because you have the Mariners. The Rangers are playing really well. You don't really see the Astros. I think the Astros are winning their division. The Rays, obviously, they're going to be a lock to make the playoffs. So it's not looking good right now for the Blue Jays. But yeah. So also some injury updates. So obviously Max Scherzer, we already talked about him from yesterday, or the last couple days. So he's going to be shut down for the rest of the regular season. Actually, Ryan Mountcastle, for the Orioles, he exited Wednesday's series finale versus the Cardinals with left shoulder discomfort. It says he hurt his left shoulder on a swing, and he said something popped. So he had some imaging done, so I don't know if there's any more updates on that. Felix Bautista, the closer for the Orioles, again, still says he could return to the bullpen this season, and he's been playing catch on flat ground in recent days. So again, I mean, that'd be huge if they can get him back. We talked about Alcantara. He had a UCL sprain, so he's on the 15-day injured list. And then Jazz Chisholm, he left Wednesday's game against the Brewers with right knee discomfort. Manny Machado, Bogarts, Yu Darvish, and Musgrove, they all are all dealing with injuries. I mean, the Padres, we'll get to it, but I mean, this season's been a disaster for them. So it says Machado's been hampered by a tennis elbow for most of the past month, and he might need off-season surgery. So that's not what you want to hear. Bogarts fouled the ball off his ankle. So it led to some bruising and lingering tightness in his calf. And calf injuries are not... I mean, even watching football, too, if you got a calf injury, it's not good. I mean, you see that Aaron Rodgers had a calf injury, and he had one in training camp, and a lot of people think that kind of led to his Achilles injury. And Joe Burrow as well dealt with a calf injury. And then, yeah, it's just not something you want. And then Yu Darvish hasn't pitched since August 25th. He's been shut down for the rest of the season, bone spur in his elbow. And then Joe Musgrove, he's got a right shoulder capsule inflammation. So, and he hasn't pitched since July 28th. I didn't even realize that. So, yeah, it's not what you want. Angels, Ohtani keeps missing games with oblique tightness. Moustakas, sore left wrist. Moniak, he's got back tightness. The Angels, again, that's another team too. It's just it's bad. But yeah, there's actually a lot of injuries. I didn't even realize this. So Yelich has been missing games, lower back tightness. Yeah, there's a lot of injuries. But for some of these teams, like the Brewers, like you need Yelich because you got to keep pace and make sure you win the division. You don't want to finish as a wild card team. But right now, the Brewers are sitting in a good spot. They've kind of built up a little bit of a lead over the Cubs. So as of right now, it's not that big of a deal. Actually, let's look. Did he play last night? I mean, these injuries go back to earlier in the week, and yeah, he's still out. So yeah, let's hope that he gets back because he's been having a good year. He's been having a season that you would expect out of a guy like Yelich. So hopefully he gets back soon because the Brewers are going to need him because I've talked about this. They've struggled in the playoffs, especially offensively. So hopefully he gets back soon. And also another quick thing. So 50 years ago, the great Roberto Clemente made the Hall of Fame. So that's a famous day in history for baseball as well. So this is when they honor him across baseball. So yeah, that's huge, and I that's a guy that you could definitely that I've definitely used on Immaculate Grid plenty of times. So yeah, that's just something to throw in there as well. It's stuff like that you appreciate baseball because baseball really appreciates their history, and honoring guys like Roberto Clemente and Jackie Robinson. That's what you really got to appreciate. What baseball does, honoring their history. So that's something else to just throw in there as well for headlines. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all the headlines. Not really, some stuff to touch upon. But yeah, so really the show is all going to be about, obviously, the Chaim Bloom stuff I wanted to touch upon more in the second segment because there's a lot to really unravel there. And also going through the scores and standings as we usually do, and then the upcoming series as well, because there's some big ones. There's some big ones. A lot of them have playoff implications. So yeah, that's basically what the show is going to be about today. And yeah, also I literally right before the show I had to make sure my dog was out of here. I keep talking about my dog. And I just feel bad like kicking her out, but I just if she starts acting like a maniac in here while I'm doing the show, it's gonna be a disaster. But yeah, so and we're and this is pretty much the end of week 2 of running the GSMC baseball podcast. So another week down. And we're getting another week closer to the postseason and all of that. So that's going to be very exciting. And we'll see. It's things are still crazy. There are a few spots that have been determined. Braves winning their division. Dodgers are about to. But wild cards are still up for grabs. And it's just going to be complete mayhem towards the end of the year. And that's what's going to make it exciting, So yeah, with that, now we are going to take our first break of the show, and then when we come back, we are going to dive into the Chaim Bloom situation and go through some of the trades that he's made over the years, or a lot of the moves that he's made, and why this is good move for the Red Sox and why this this happens. So stick around, and we will be right back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast.